Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year. I'm Baron and this is your Brain on Books, and today I wanted to go over the top 10 books I plan on reading in 2022. Now, my reading goal for 2022 is going to be very different. I did not set a goal for number of books read, page count, anything else like that. Instead, I want to take the time and read some books that I understand to be more complex, things that have intimidated me, that I've left on my shelf for way too long. It's time. I find that stuff really rewarding, not just to read, but also, stuff for me to review on the channel. When I do reviews for more complex book, it's hard to talk about, and I find that just a lot of fun. It's a good challenge for me. So without further ado, let's just get into the list. And the first one is a bit obvious, and that is Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. Now, we did start a read-along on the channel for this book today. It's not too late to jump in if you want to. We're starting with this in January. Next month, we're going to do Dead House Gates. I'll leave the Discord link below. We actually have quite a few people jumping on, some other content creators, and also some Amazon vets are kind of talking through the series with us as we go. So I'm about 100 pages in, and so far, I am just blown away. Like I said, this is a book that's kind of intimidated me, a series that intimidated me, and everyone said kind of how disorienting this is at first. I haven't found that to be the case. I mean, I'm only 20% in. That could change, but so far, this has exceeded expectations. So excited to continue there. Another book or series that's been on my list for a while, I think I've had this on my shelf maybe 2 years and haven't picked it up because I'm just completely intimidated by it, and that is Shadow of the Torturer by Gene Wolfe. So I'm not going to commit to reading all 4 volumes of Book of the New Sun yet, but at minimum, I want to get to Shadow of the Torturer. I just had a ton of hesitation around this. It's a short story, but I know it's dense. It's very difficult to read from pretty much everybody who I've seen review this. Until recently, I saw Liam from Liam's Lyceum do a review on this, and it was a fantastic review. I'll probably link that down below. I suggest you go check it out. But he just got me really excited about this, and the way he discussed the plot and what the story is actual about, it just kind of clicked, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, that sounds like something I'd really be interested in. So that's coming up here soon. Luckily, it's a shorter read, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything when you're talking about density. So other complex science fiction, I have Anathem by Neil Stephenson. I don't know, I couldn't say his name right. This book just seems so interesting to me. I mean, it's a huge one. I know it's very, very dense. I've seen some mixed reviews on it, but I know it deals with like secular nature and society and kind of the dogma that surrounds science versus religion. And it's also a first contact story. At least that's how I understand it. Just seems like really, really cool stuff. I know this is going to be a tricky book to get through, and I don't want to rush myself. That's kind of why I'm ditching, the books read reading goal for the year. It's like I want to take my time and make sure I fully understand what Neil Stephenson is trying to accomplish with this book. So that's exciting. I don't know what month I'm going to get to some of these. I mean, we have 10, so you can expect at least one a month. More than likely, I'll probably get through them in the first half of the year, but, time will tell. So moving on from there, I have The Great and Secret Show by Clive Barker. So if you've been following the channel for any length of time, I'm a huge Clive Barker fan, and I've read a lot of his stuff. I've kind of been going chronologically through everything he's published, and I've read a lot of the big fantasy epics already, like Magica and Weave World and Thief of Always. So the next logical step is for me to start the Book of the Art, which is a trilogy, and the first entry is The Great and Secret Show. I am so excited to get back to his work. Everything I've read from him so far has really been a good fit for my personal taste. It's not for everybody, but for me, I adore his writing. So this is, out of anything here, this is the one I'm probably the most excited to read. All right, going on from there. Now, this doesn't really need much explanation at all, and this is Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. I have yet to see a bad review about this book. Everybody just gushes on how good this is, and I can't put it off any longer. I don't know if this is necessarily a complex read like I've discussed with some of the other ones, but nonetheless, this is going to be awesome. I don't know if I'll read the whole series. We'll just try the first one and see how it goes. Okay, next I have This is kind of a weird cover, so you might not know what it is, but American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I really like Neil Gaiman. I think I've read about 6 or 7 of his books so far. Most of them are all shorter fiction, but American Gods, supposed to be his magnum opus. I don't know why I put it off so long to read it, because I am a huge fan of his writing, but that is absolutely happening this year. So next up, I have The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with Cormac McCarthy's writing, but everybody just says The Road is amazing, and I believe it. This is a short book, but if you read McCarthy before, page count has nothing to do with his stories. The writing style is very, very dense, very lyrical, and I've had this one for a while and just couldn't bring myself to pick it up because I just know the mental investment that goes into reading a McCarthy book, but I really, really want to read that this year. I can't put it off anymore because I'd like to get to some of his other series, especially the Border trilogy. So I just feel like I gotta at least read The Road first. So next, I have The Complete Fiction of H.P. Lovecraft. Now, I'm a huge dark fantasy and horror fan, and I've never read Lovecraft, which I know that seems insane. He's like the grandfather of cosmic horror. So I picked this up. This is just like one of the basic Barnes & Noble editions, but it has every single thing he wrote, all the short stories. So I'm going to tackle this whole thing throughout 2022. There's a lot of short stories, but they're very quick. They're like 10 pages each. So I'm probably just going to do like one a week. And then if, I'm having burnout or in between books, I'll likely get through some more. All in all, this is about 1,200 pages, but the font is small. This is really small. This is a lot to get through, even though it's just a single book. But throughout the year, no doubt, I'm going to read all of these. I don't really know how I'll be able to talk about those on the channel. Maybe once I finish, the whole thing, I'll do like a reaction or just a general impression on his writing. We'll see. So coming up, maybe at the end of 2022, but definitely 2023, I'm going to do a full reread of The Dark Tower. So what I've been doing right now is trying to get through all of the multiverse connecting novels, and I've read a lot of them. But there are still a handful that I need to do that are really big, and one of them is Insomnia. So this is kind of a placeholder for the other big tomes connecting to The Dark Tower. So Insomnia I need to read, Talisman Black House, and then also Desperation and the Regulators. So Insomnia is the one that I put off the longest because it has such mixed reviews. Now, I know it's slow, but it's so heavily connected to the multiverse, which I'm a big fan of. I think I'm going to like this, even if it is slow. It's just going to have a lot of Easter eggs, and I know it's about the Crimson King, which I'd like to get more of his backstory, so that'll be happening pretty soon. So in addition to that, you'll probably see some more Stephen King content on the channel just because I'm going to be reading a ton of it this year in anticipation for the Dark Tower reread. And then the last book on the list is Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I had a recent book haul and I mentioned this. I'm going to be doing a buddy read for this book. I can't wait to actually try Ken Follett's writing, and I love historical fiction. The more I read, I really started reading fantasy and science fiction, which I absolutely still love. But as time goes on and I read more, I'm realizing I really, really like historical fiction. So this is supposed to be one of the greats. So it's a no-brainer for me to pick up. So anyway, that's my plan for 2022. If you've read any of this stuff or you have some comments on it, let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, see ya.